Hello, Dream Team. Welcome back to our podcast.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another incredible installment of Here's a Thought with the Max. My name is Tarato Macheta.
And I'm Petola Macheta.
Yeah, so beautiful. I keep on saying it, guys. I keep on saying it. Because am I lying?
Every time you say it, you catch me off guard because I don't expect
Stop it. I like it. Guys, thank you so much for all of the love that you continue to show us. We appreciate you guys. We love you. We're on 50.8, almost 51,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the interaction, all of the comments. And if you haven't done so yet, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. Turn on your notification bell to know every single time we upload a new installment. Do the right thing, people. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Yes.
I haven't got tongue twisted there. So, my love, today's conversation. So, a few weeks ago, we bought a plant.
She bought a plant.
A house plant.
My wife bought a plant. I just want that to be clear.
And not an artificial one, because I was like, babe, I really want a real plant, not an artificial one.
Yeah.
And Hasbi over here was like, no, babe, you're
studio.
setting yourself up for failure.
No, but let me qualify.
The maintenance is high.
Can
and
I
I was
qualify?
like, you don't think I can take care of a plant? I've taken care of two
Let me
children.
tell you a
my
quick story,
lifetime.
guys. Let me tell you a quick story. I have wanted a pet. I've wanted a dog since we met.
Okay.
And my wife was like, are you going to take care of it? Are you not going to? Whatever, right? I went through the third degree. We're talking about a plant. So I said to her, okay, babe, but are you going to take care of it?
I would have had to take care of this pet, guys.
Wow.
Yeah,
Anyway, as you were saying.
Yes.
Yes.
As I was saying before, I was interrupted.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Where was I? Now I'm losing my train of thought.
So you wanted to buy a plant,
I wanted to buy a plant,
I was like, don't do
I
it.
was like, don't do it.
Yeah,
it's going to die because you kill things.
Wow.
He didn't say that.
What is this?
Okay, no, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Joking. And we bought this plant and it was doing well, for about 3 weeks or so.
I think
and
you're being generous.
Am I being generous,
anyway,
babe?
Carry on.
Okay, I think we used it like once in the studio and then it started dying.
Yes.
Right? But then it wasn't dying. Like it was just shedding leaves. And I was like, you know what? Maybe let me take this plant outside for sunshine.
This house plant.
Let me take it out for sunshine and let me take it out for some fresh air. Right? And some water. And lo and behold, I forgot it outside. I forgot it outside for about 2 days, guys. Yeah. When I went to go get it, the plant was dying a slow death. A lot of the leaves of the leaves were turning brown, and it was just a sad sight.
Yeah.
Right? And after I saw that plant, I really feel like God planted something in my spirit. I looked at that plant and I was like, gosh, is there a way? Should I just throw it away, or is there a way of bringing this plant back to life? Yeah. And I started doing some research, and apparently there is a way to bring back a plant to life.
That is dying.
Right? And I think we were so intentional about today's message, when we say, how to bring back your marriage from a dead place. Yeah. So the marriage is not dead.
Like the plant.
The plant is not dead, but it was in a dead state.
A dead place.
Dead place.
Yeah.
Can a place not be a state?
Well, look, so sorry. Wow. Now I'm tongue twisted.
Yeah.
It's that thing that one of my favorite quotes that says, when a flower doesn't bloom, you don't fix the flower itself. You fix the environment in which the flower grows.
Love that.
So yeah, it was in a dead place.
It was in a dead place.
Yeah.
And, I learned that there are a few things that you can do to bring this plant back to life. And made me think about, how can we actively work on our relationships and marriages to bring them back from that dead space? Yeah.
I love it.
Come
on.
And
guys, which means I knew how to marry, guys.
Holy Spirit dropping things into my spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first thing, guys, that I did wrong was to take this plant away from its natural habitat.
Yeah.
And how often do we remove ourselves from our natural habitat? And for me in this space, I started thinking about when a couple moves away from God's presence.
For sure.
And you can add
For sure,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the whole idea of relationships and marriage was created by God. And as soon as you
Yeah.
remove it from that equation of being within God and God being the architect and the
Yeah.
finisher and the perfecter of that relationship, then the likelihood is that you're going to start to try to look
Yeah.
for other ways and other mediums and other energies to try
Yeah.
to keep it afloat.
Yeah.
And yet, when you can go back to the source of what the source of where a relationship is supposed to live
Yeah.
and lie, it is there that it will flourish.
I agree, my love. I
Yeah.
agree. And something that I think people might get twisted, or maybe it might not send the wrong idea, but there's a saying that says a couple that prays together stays together.
Yeah.
Right? And people might be thinking, what does that look like?
Yeah.
So Lerato and I have different time zones.
Yeah.
So we often have our quiet time separately.
Yeah.
It's not often, babe, that we have devotions or our prayer time together.
Which we must fix.
Which we must,
But-
fine, which we must fix.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not
yeah.
all is lost.
Yes.
Right? Not all is lost, because God also wants to work on us individually.
Personally, yeah.
And I have gotten so much revelation and so much, I've been edified so much from spending time with God by myself.
For sure.
So you need to make that time. So you're not a morning person. I
Nope.
usually do my devotions in the morning.
Yeah.
You usually do your devotions in the evening.
Yeah.
And we don't always get it right, but we've started trying to have devotions before the girls go to bed. And it's something that, like you said, that we will fix.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that all is not lost. If you can't find time to pray together, don't put it off and say we don't have time to do it together. Do it by yourself. And your husband can also do it by themselves.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
just really the bedrock of this is pray for your relationship.
Pray for your
You know what I mean?
relationship.
Pray for it.
Spend time with God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Another thing that I loved, my love, about what it is that we can do to bring this plant/marriage relationship back to life is get rid of the dead leaves. So they were saying that if the leaves are 50% dead, cut them off. Right?
Sure.
And it made me to think about the bad habits that we sort of, what's the word?
That we hold on
that
to.
we hold on to.
Yeah.
That we also come into our marriage with.
For sure.
And I think if we can personalize it, when we got married, babe, you had this bad habit of coming to bed very late.
Yeah.
Staying up, working, practicing, and it used to make me feel lonely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm so glad that you used that example because,
Yeah.
guys, a bad habit for your marriage is not necessarily a bad habit.
Yes.
Because it's a good habit that I had and I had garnered over the years. I had worked on myself to say, listen, you're going to need to work harder than the next guy. You're going to need to sleep
Yeah.
later than the next guy. You're going to need to grind harder. You're going to need to think outside the box. You're going to need to, you know what I mean? But I was single.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
this was a good habit. But now when I brought it into my marriage, it was something that was causing strain on the marriage. And I love how we always speak about giving up the right to be right. Because I was also sitting there very justified and saying, no, but I'm doing this for you. I am working for you, for my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I'm doing all of these things so that I can breathe life into my family, into our relationship.
Yeah.
And yet that's the thing that was causing strain in the relationship. So
Yeah.
when you look at that leaf and it's like 50% dead,
Yeah.
take a second, take a step back and say, this habit that I have, whether it's good or bad, is it something that is feeding my relationship? Is it something that is edifying my relationship? Is it something that is encouraging my
Yeah.
wife? Is it something, or is it something that I just need to cut off and say,
Yeah.
okay, look, let me start to look at this thing differently and let me negotiate with myself. Let me negotiate with my wife and see, if it's not serving my marriage, then maybe it's worth taking a step back and thinking about.
So uskaba manganga, my baby.
Yeah.
Don't be stubborn and be on some. No, but I'm working for my family.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then
Go jump.
you know.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, guys, yes, we want your money and we want you.
Yes.
At the same
And the money.
we want the money and we want because it's not nice if you are bringing the money but you're absent.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember saying this to you, babe, I don't know if you remember, and I said, my love, you know what's gonna happen one day when we have, you know, amassed all this success and, you know, the money
Wealth,
and whatever, the wealth,
yes.
right? But we are strangers.
Yeah.
Is it going? It's not going to be sweet.
Yeah, and we have to reintroduce each other to each other, and
that's what I'm finding, that sometimes we find couples that are in their 50s, 60s getting divorced, and you're like, but you guys, you're too old to be getting divorced. But the reality is, they were ships in the night.
Yeah, I just wanted to make another just a point on that to say as well. It is also the responsibility of the person who feels like they were done wrong, or you know, it's important for both people to meet each other halfway as well. You know, so me cutting off sleeping late, my wife also gives me a lot of grace, especially in very high pressure times when I need to get a lot of things done.
Yeah.
Then she understands that, oh, okay, he needs his space, he needs his time, he needs time to work and whatever. But I also meet her halfway to say, listen, babe, I know that I'm very busy right now. I know that, you know, can you just give me some time? I'm just in a little bit of a season.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Just meet each other halfway. So there's that part of your leave, you know, that you had to cut
to meet you halfway.
To meet me halfway. And then there's my leave as well that I needed to cut, you know, so that we can meet at a place where we compromise and we can continue growing. Because what you don't want is for the one party to compromise, and then when things don't quite work out the way that I wanted them to work out, I can't then turn around and be like, but you don't want me to stay up late, but you don't want now
me to
look.
Work.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'm harboring bitterness.
Yeah. And another thing, my love, in that season that you also cut off was, and we do this all the time, work hard. And when it's time to unwind, you choose to unwind outside the home.
Yeah.
You choose to go to friends. Maybe you choose to watch TV, or you choose to be on social media.
Yeah, because
right?
Because we can't unwind at home.
Right?
Because you are here.
Exactly. No.
Yeah.
Why am I agreeing to this?
No, I'm telling you.
No.
I'm listen, ladies. I'm not excusing bad behavior.
Yes.
But there's nothing that a man values more than peace. All right? If he wants to unwind at home, and he's lying on the couch and he's Netflixing, because you're upset that he's been working, now you are, and it's like, no, but I'm trying to
unwind.
To
spend time with you.
No.
So maybe another way to do this.
Yes.
Guys, I had a boss, and she was the group exec. So her title was very significant, right?
Yeah.
And what she did is, this woman works hard, but baby, she doesn't compromise on family time.
Yeah.
She goes on holiday about 3 times or 4 times with her family.
Yeah.
And that's when she gets to switch off. So, is it lipstick?
You're good. Yeah.
So you're telling
I got you.
So you're telling me halfway through.
No, it just happened now.
Oh,
you're welcome.
I was like,
you had the option to say thank you.
You're watching me talking.
You had the option
like,
to
lipstick.
say thank you.
Okay. Thanks, my angel.
You're welcome.
Thanks, my love. And so what I'm trying to drive through is that, you know, and we're not going to sit on this point for too long.
Yeah.
But make time. Work hard.
Yes.
And play hard.
Yes.
Yes.
With your family, because this is what we do, gents.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this. So this is what we do. We work, and then our families get the leftovers
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
They get the leftovers of our time. They get the leftovers of our energy. And that time, your kid is going, oh, finally, I get to
Yeah.
spend some time with you. And you're like, listen, babe, it's been a long month.
Yeah.
I just need time. Let's not do that.
Especially when you're young. Guys, very
Yeah.
young sometimes. Matata.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but we grow.
Yes. Yeah,
and
for sure. For sure.
And another third point,
Yeah.
right? Water the plants. Not occasionally, often.
Yeah.
This is what I learned. And I think because I was thinking it's a house plant, I watered it when I remembered,
For sure.
which wasn't supposed to happen.
For sure.
Right? And
Yeah.
I find that with love and affection, we need to be
Words of
doing
affirmation.
that. Words and right? We need to be doing that constantly.
Yeah.
You can't do it occasionally and think that your relationship is going to thrive.
The thing is about a thriving relationship is not a destination. It's a
Love
constant
that.
journey.
Love
And
that.
we've often spoken about love languages and how your love language could evolve over
Yes.
time, and you need to constantly be checking in on your partner
Yeah.
and finding out what are their likes, what are their dislikes. So just like watering this plant, you constantly need to be plugged in and find new ways
Yeah.
to water, to pour water into your relationship, and find new ways, guys.
Yeah.
There isn't a textbook way of doing it, because no two relationships are the same, right? There's no woman on earth like my wife, because she's 1 in a billion. But you need
see,
to
that was
constantly.
a word of
that was
affirmation.
water, Ndana. Water.
Levati.
Water.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But over time, you're gonna learn what makes your wife tick, what makes your husband tick. What makes them feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn. You know what I mean? You're just gonna learn all these things. So never tire of it, thinking that, oh no, but last week
Yeah.
I did that. No,
Yeah.
it's like you need to constantly be watering, like
Yeah.
constantly. And here's the thing: when you love someone, isn't that a pleasure?
It
Is it not a
is.
pleasure to
Great
constantly
pleasure.
be looking for new ways to put a smile on their heart?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we do it in our own way, right?
Yeah.
Like we've mentioned to you before, every day, 3 times a day, I love you. I
love
remember
you.
I remember yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was like, babe, did you tell me you love me today?
Yeah.
And I asked Hawk, I was like, Hawk, wait, did I tell you that I loved you today? And she was like, no. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because we have to do it every day. Sometimes
sure.
3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
And what we also do, baby, which is something that I really cherish, is we text each other just out of the blue, right? If you are away at work, just affirm each other, just to say, babe, thank you for being such an amazing husband, such a great father, when you least expect to receive that text.
Yeah. Can I also say this, guys? And we must fix this thing.
Yeah.
Guys, send memes and jokes to your partner.
I send you jokes.
guys, send memes and jokes to your partner. The ones that you send that friend group that you have, that work group of the
Yeah,
girls
yeah.
and whatever, and you guys share jokes. Guys, share jokes with your partner. I'm
Baby,
just
do you
saying.
know how many things
I'm saying
I send
for
you?
a friend.
Even on Instagram, I forward you things
Sean Dana.
and jokes.
Yes.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And another one.
Yeah.
Point number 4.
Yeah.
Fertilize your plant, guys, with grace and mercy. And I think in the beginning, that's something that I didn't do very well. I was not very gracious, me. Why are you smiling?
No comment, Your Honor. No
Why are you
comment.
smiling like that?
No comment.
And I don't know if it's a man thing or if it's just a human thing, but babe, you overflow with grace and mercy, and I don't know how you do it. And for me, I was just like guns blazing. One mistake, you're out. But it was also from, I think, past relationship traumas.
Possibly.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about fertilizer is that when you lay the fertilizer on your bed of flowers, or you put that fertilizer on your grass,
Yeah.
you don't see the fruit
Instantly.
instantly.
Yeah.
right? It's only after a couple of days and you've watered it or it has rained or whatever. And then you start to see that, okay, this fertilizer. So this is the thing about grace as well. It's that very often when you are gracious to someone, you almost want for them to show gratitude immediately, and then you're almost offended, when they don't show that kind of gratitude and whatever. But do not despise that seed that you're planting, because over time, once it has rained and once it's received enough sunlight, then you start to see the fruit of it, and you're like, wow, I'm really starting to permeate this person's heart, with the grace that I'm extending to them. And if anything, it does so much more for you as a person to extend grace to the next person, because inevitably you also start to do that for yourself. You're more forgiving to yourself. You're more gracious to yourself. You're able to move past things, past mistakes that you've made. So never think that it's in vain. I almost got caught in that. I have been guilty of being bitter about being the good guy, about being the, and I'm not talking about in my relationship. I'm just talking about generally in life. And then you start to hear quotes like people saying, good guys finish last. You know what I mean? And those things start to resonate with you. And you're like, yeah, well, what's the point? Because I do this and I do that. But like fertilizer, give it time, and over time, you're going to see the fruit of it.
I think, baby, if we're being honest though, like real talk, guys, even in our marriage, my love, you felt feelings of maybe not bitterness, but maybe sort of weariness. Yeah. Where you have felt like, I'm a good guy and sometimes my efforts are not seen, because I think for me, I put a lot of pressure on you in the beginning. I expected perfection. And I had put you on this pedestal as well, where I made no room for error, right? Where I just thought, okay, give me the perfect. And then, you start living with someone and you start seeing, okay, we're human and we are flawed and you need to extend, grace and mercy. And I remember the one time you taught me something as well that I just didn't get in the beginning, where you would say, babe, if I'm doing, maybe if it's something that we haven't spoken about, there's no need for you to go from 0 to 100. Yeah. We haven't spoken about this. I didn't know that this is how it would make you feel, right? And over time, and it's difficult, right? Because every situation carries some kind of burden. Right? And now to have to deal with different things in marriage. And that's why sometimes people just feel like this is a lot, right? Yes, it's not the same situation, but it's almost like the last situation and we're still talking about it. And I think that's where it's not something that I have perfected, but I think I've gotten better.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think also because I don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
Right.
Because that was my biggest issue.
But this is the beautiful thing, and this is why I'm saying the grace and mercy thing is also for yourself. Yes. It's also for your personal growth. Yeah. Because just like you don't sweat the small stuff, I also don't get as offended anymore. Which is a good life skill to have. Sure. If you have this kind of personality, then you need to be able to stomach ingratitude.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's all for your growth. When it comes to marriage, one of the things I made an example recently. I don't think I shared it with you. I made an example recently. Somebody was asking me about marriage. I said, guys, do you know Squid Game? I said, have you watched Squid Game?
I haven't watched it,
and they were like, yeah, we've watched Squid Game. I said, imagine winning Squid Game.
Yeah.
Ne? Like you're the winner, like you finish all the challenges. Yeah. You're the person that triumphs at the end of the day. Yeah. Ne? And then they're like, would you do it again?
Yeah.
That for me is marriage. You come out a better person on the other side. Yeah. But man, it was a journey. But I also always say this. I mean, that's the part where I'm joking, obviously. But I'm like, I always say that it's one of the hardest things that I've done, but I am definitely a better man
person.
for it.
Yeah.
For having gone through that,
definitely.
because I would be useless. Oh gosh.
Definitely.
I mean, had I not been married, there are just some things I know using this
definitely.
yeah no but it's true. I'd be useless. I just, there are just some things that I would take personally that have got nothing to do with anything. It's the problem is not mine. And these are some of the lessons that I've learned, that I've had to go away and ask myself, wait, Lerato, in this equation, in this situation, who is the person with a problem? Do you have a problem, or do they have a problem? When I figure that, no, my wife is the one with the problem, I leave her with the problem. Look, it's fine.
Or sometimes you are just the one with the problem.
And sometimes I'm the one with the problem.
And what I've also learned about grace and mercy is that I think you also stop taking things personally as well. Like you spoke about it, right? And for me, what it did was to realize that, because you stop taking things personally in the sense that, okay, she's the one with the problem, not me. And I stopped taking things personally in the sense that you're not out to get me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, because you thought I was out to get you.
I started seeing your heart.
My wife is just...
And only because, guys, we come into relationships with the trauma
Yes.
and hurt, and your partner does something and you're like, don't you dare. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it released me in that sense where when I started extending more grace and mercy towards you as my adoring husband.
Even when you...
Such a nice arm.
Oh. All right. Even when you don't understand, you do have the option to extend grace.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll say to my wife, no, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I actually don't. I actually don't understand.
Yeah.
But I'll try to. I'll try to see it from your point of view. I actually, no, I don't agree. But I don't have to fight you.
I love that.
I don't agree, but I judge your heart.
Yes.
More than I do. Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. I judge your heart before I judge your actions. Now, I know that a lot of you have got a lot to say about that, but I do. Why? Because I understand that my wife and I are different.
Yeah.
Just because I would do things a different way to the way that she does them, it doesn't necessarily mean that she has ill intent when she does the things that she does.
Yeah.
That's all.
And it also released me because I used to say things like, I would never do that.
And I'd be like, I would. So what's your point?
Wow. But anyway, moving along swiftly. Is it our fifth point?
Yes,
I think it's our fifth point.
Yeah.
Sunshine, guys. But what I learned about house plants is that they do not thrive when they're in direct sunlight.
Direct sunlight, yeah.
So they have to be in direct sunlight. They need to be in a well-lit room.
Yeah.
And it made me think about, some of the things that we expose our marriages and our relationships to.
Yeah.
Right? The places, you said it, my love.
Yeah.
The places that we go to.
For sure. It's very important to be intentional about thinking about the places that you expose your marriage to, the people that you expose your marriage to, the energy that you expose your marriage to, the conversation that you expose your marriages to. Because... the beautiful thing about, well, whether beautiful or not, but the thing about life is it's never stagnant.
Yeah.
You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. You're never just at a standstill. And so, one of the examples that you made earlier on, before, we started shooting, was what is the kind of conversation that you're having about your marriage to your friends
and family.
You know what I'm saying?
And co-workers.
And family and co-workers. You know what I mean? So be very clear about the environment. Are you taking your marriage, like this plant, and putting it in direct sunlight where it's open to the elements and to harm, and yet where this plant is made to thrive
Yeah.
is indoors. Yes, it needs light, but it doesn't need direct
Direct
harsh sunlight,
sunlight.
that could damage it.
That's, I mean, babe, you've summed it up. And I
Mm.
think how our family, our partner, our friends and colleagues see your partner is how you represent them.
You taught me
You,
that.
yeah, because your family and your friends, they don't know your partner well, right? If you go around saying things like, that one useless,
Muthu wa Modimo.
Muthu wa Modimo, he can't get anything right.
Yeah.
This is how everyone is going to see your partner.
Yeah.
And I think we have a responsibility as partners, not to our own detriment, to
Yes.
cover each other's nakedness,
Yes.
right? Not
Yes.
in circumstances
Yes.
where obviously there's
There's
abuse
abuse
and
or
so forth
anything.
and
Yeah,
so on.
yeah.
But there's certain things that we need to ensure that we cover our spouses from.
Yeah.
Because people won't forget.
For sure.
You and your partner, tomorrow
You'll
you are
forgive each
fine,
other, you're-
going to farmer's market,
yeah.
going to maybe Konka.
And then
some
people are like, "Skaba bona ba le so."
Ska ba bona ba le ko
You know,
Konka.
don't think that, everything is all
Yeah,
dandy at
right,
home. You
right?
Know?
Like this one, the other day, he did this and this and this and that. So, guys, it's very important. So that's why I find it beneficial to also have a therapist. Because
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you do need to get things off your chest,
Yeah.
because sometimes,
Yeah.
things get real, right?
Yeah.
Speak to someone, o ile goreng kaosane, they're not gonna use what happened against you.
For sure.
Especially because sometimes family, they're just like,
Yeah.
this one, uska mona
Yeah.
aliso. So guys, don't play yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And our final point, our last and final point.
Yeah.
I read somewhere, guys. It might sound like some myth, some crazy thing, but you need to speak to plants, right? You need to speak to plants. And I was saying to Lerato earlier, and I think it also ties back to how you speak about your relationship.
For
but
sure.
speak life into your marriage, guys. I was
Yeah.
reminded of Ezekiel 37, I think 1-14, where it's the story about dry
The
bones,
dry bones, yeah.
right? And in that passage, we see how God spoke, God directed. Who was it? It was Prophet Ezekiel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to say, speak to these dry bones. And those dry bones came back to life,
Yeah.
right? I think the way we speak about our marriages, the way we speak to our spouses as well,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
can really bruise our partners and damage them. And once a word has gone out, unfortunately, you can't take it back.
The reality is our words have power. So
Yeah.
we are made in the image and the likeness of God. And God created everything through his words.
Yeah.
And if your marriage, you feel like, is in a dry place, is in a dead place, you do have the option and the opportunity
Yeah.
to speak differently. Let your testimony be different about where your marriage is.
Yes.
If for nothing else, maybe you'll start to change your mind about where you think your marriage is,
Yes.
just by virtue of the testimony that comes out of your mouth based on your marriage.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you should lie to yourself. But what I'm basically encouraging right now is there was the gentleman who I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but his child was really sick and he had died, and he went to Jesus.
Yeah.
And he said to Jesus, please, you need to come and see my child. My child is sick, and and then when Jesus, I don't know if it's when Jesus got there, but I remember he said, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just believe.
Yeah.
And it's so important that we watch the words that we say, because you could kill your marriage, which just happens to be in a dry place,
Yeah.
just by the words that come out of your mouth. And yet, if you could maybe take a second to be still
Yeah.
while you recalibrate, while you
Yes.
gather yourself, while you gather your strength, and allow the words that come out of your mouth when you speak about your marriage, whether to God or to people, you have the option to have faith and
Yeah.
let the words that come out of your mouth speak life into your marriage.
And I love that, babe. And I think God really takes not speaking ill of a situation very seriously.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he does understand that the power of life and death
Or in the
the
life and death
life
lie in
and
the
death
power
life
of the tongue.
of the tongue,
Yeah.
right? And you love the scripture, my love. Now I've forgotten, but where someone went mute for about 9 months.
Yeah.
Kind of you love the scripture.
I think I love the story.
The story.
I think. Yes. Somebody was pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody was
Oh
pregnant.
gosh, please remind us.
Yeah,
'cause
please
it's such a
remind us, guys.
pertinent
Somebody
story.
was pregnant,
Yeah.
and this woman didn't believe, and he was like, "Okay, I'm just going to swap."
No, I think they swapped the man.
Oh, the husband. Yeah,
they swapped
because
the man
yeah,
because
yeah.
of unbelief.
Yeah,
And
so that the promise of God would come to fruition.
yes.
And
Yeah.
he didn't want the man to speak against
Yeah.
the promise of that child.
And I think sometimes, you know, we blame the enemy for things that don't come to fruition in our lives. But
Sometimes
the enemy,
we are the enemy.
we are the enemy, because the enemy knows that all he needs to do is to play with your mind.
Yeah.
Tap into your mind and get you
To confess.
speak against what God has promised.
For sure.
And if he can get you to do that, ufeditse.
Yeah,
It's
he's
game
won.
over, right? He
Yeah.
doesn't even need to cause this, to make the lights go out and whatever.
yeah.
You just simply need to speak ill of what God has promised,
Yeah.
and it's game over. So I think,
Yeah.
guys, let's be careful about how we speak to our partners and how we speak about our marriages.
And also the things that you say in jest. There are some
Yeah.
phrases that we say, you know, obviously I'm not going to complete it, but you know, in society they say, hey, nyala o, you know, like don't do it. Just
And my love, this thing that we say, then when we say marriage it's tough.
marriage is tough.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not, yes, it's
It
got
has its challenges.
I
Yeah.
think we need to change
The
the
narrative.
narrative and the way we speak about it.
Yeah.
Not for, after the ring comes the suffering.
Yeah.
Nyala, this. Marriage, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so
Yeah, yeah,
hard
yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah,
we're
for
not
sure.
saying, like you're not saying that lie to yourself.
Yeah. Don't be boring.
But let's
But,
change.
yeah.
Let's change the way we speak
For
about our
sure.
marriages and our
Yeah.
partners.
I love you.
I love you. We love you. Thank you
We
so
adore you.
much for it's so humbling that people actually spend their data to listen
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah.
You know,
It's crazy, right?
right?
I'm like, you want to listen to us?
To
speak?
us,
Okay.
speak, right? But thank you so much,
Yeah, it's
guys.
amazing.
Baby, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you,
I
my
think this was a
beautiful.
very important conversation.
I think so too.
Thank you so much for always bringing your A game to the conversations,
I mean,
right?
girl,
Mr.
you
Max
know,
always
hey,
dropping gems,
you know,
right?
I mean, thank you for preparing it
these.
also, because
these.
I'm riding this wave hard. I'm just like, oh, you want to say? Cool. I got it. No, don't worry. It's fine.
Now you're bragging because it just shows you're filled with so much wisdom.
No, Ntanaga.
Pills just drop. You know,
No.
like, I didn't even study. 90%.
No, it's not that. You just you create a safe space for me, so I feel
babe.
confident.
Aw.
Because.
Okay, let's take this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
get a room.
boys and girls, you know what it is. Thank you so much. We love and
Yeah.
appreciate you. We love you.
do.
We love your marriages. We love your
We love
relationships.
your relationships.
Guys,
Yeah.
This can be such a beautiful thing
Yeah.
if you would just let it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thunder is thundering. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on your notifications to know every single time we upload a new installment.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the support. We love you guys. Did you want to say anything? Oh, yes. Do
And
it.
this was another riveting installment of Here's a Thought with the Max. One time, too real. Oh, yes.
You know what it is. Peace and blessings.
Love you. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen.